In the next batch of Love is Blind episodes, we're going to be arriving at the weddings. These are my predictions / who I think should / shouldn't marry. First up, we have Edmund and Calibria. I don't think they should get married, but unfortunately, I think there could be a, say, 60% chance that they could get married. It seems like Calibria is determined to see the project that is Edmund through. She is giving him chance after chance to, quite frankly, disappoint her. And he keeps disappointing. And yet she's still there. Why? I feel like they're already in the resentment stage. I feel like Calibria resents Edmund for, the potential not materializing as quick as she would like. And I think Edmund is also resenting Calibria for not giving him A stars across the board for his problematic behavior. I really do hope that it is a no at the altar, but I could see them saying yes and the marriage just being a dumpster fire and ending in divorce. I guess we'll see. Next up, Sparkle, Megan and Jordan. I think that they're probably the strongest couple of the season, and I think they most likely will get married. I feel like I've never watched a season where there hasn't been any marriages, and I feel like if anything, Netflix would broker a deal with one couple to be like, we'll pay you this much to be married for at least a year. And I think that couple will be Jordan and Megan. But I don't think that they are well matched. I think there is, I would say, a 70% chance that they will get married. But personally, I just don't think that they are compatible. I think they are on opposite ends of the spectrum in life, and I think there's a lot of pretending and delusion going on in this relationship. With Jordan, there are signs of immaturity there, and I definitely feel like he is on his best behavior because he wants to secure this house for him and his son. He wants to live his best sugar baby life, but I definitely think perhaps he has led Megan to believe not necessarily that he is a provider or a breadwinner, but that he wants to still, that he, respects that Megan makes more money than him, but still wants to contribute somehow. And I think with Megan, it's all about, well, ideally, I would like somebody who either matches me or makes more money than me, but I've tried that, it didn't work out. So as long as somebody's still making the effort to contribute a bit so that I don't feel totally used, I can settle for that. And I think Jordan is definitely playing into that, when really and truly he's like, I hit the jackpot. I mean, we heard him in the pods when he was talking about this chick is going to be the breadwinner. But like I said, he's on his best behavior. But I heard you in the pods, Jordan. And onto Megan just being delusional. She's very emotional and she just seems very fixated on Luca. And I think maybe this is a manifestation of her grief from her father, who also had type 1 diabetes. And she just feels like this is a sign from her father from beyond the grave. But unfortunately, hun, it's giving, this is delusion. And this marriage and you being a stepmother to Luca, I don't think it's going to heal whatever is going on there. And I'm not gonna lie, I just feel like her buying this house for Jordan and his son is a bit wild, and it's just not sitting right with my womanly spirit, and it's just not sitting right with me and my spirit, like a woman buying a man a house. I just feel like it shouldn't be this way round, Swan. And also with this whole mortgage situation, I don't know if Jordan can afford this mortgage. Even though it's heavily discounted, it's a great deal. But I'm not sure if he can afford it. And I feel like he's like, perhaps embellishing how much he actually has. And I feel like, I'm not sure. Maybe he'll be, well behaved if he's well taken care of. But I don't know. It just feels like a really weird relationship. But I think if anyone's going to get married this season, I think it will be them. Next up, we have Anton and Abby. I would say 40% chance that they get married. I personally don't really see much substance in their relationship. I feel like it's just physical attraction holding this relationship together. They both talked about their values in the pods. Anton says he's a traditional man. Abby is basically like, yes, like I want to be provided for, sprinkle, sprinkle. So they connected on that. But in the real world, it seems like although Anton is happy to be a provider, is not making sole provider money, and it's giving very much it's going to be 80-20. That's what it's giving. But to me, it's very clear that Abby is a material girl. She wants to be completely taken care of. She's kind of soft launching, perhaps, outsourcing domestic labor, getting a private chef. Maybe she wants a cleaner. It's giving that she wants to live a pampered life. And I'm in support. That's what I'm going to be requesting from my husband as well. But I feel like Anton is not going to be able to provide that for her financially. He's coming from a sense of, I can provide for you, but like I have financial constraints. But Abby, she's over here talking about, am I still going to be able to get Botox? So I feel like right now she's okay with, Anton subsidizing her life, but really she wants, not only does she want to be fully provided for, but she clearly wants a luxury lifestyle. She wants the vacations. She wants the beauty treatments whenever she wants them. She doesn't want to be rationing out her Botox. Now, Anton's talking about, I guess I can work 100 hours instead of 60. And she's like, that's the right answer. Like, go get more money for me. But I just feel like that's a bit unrealistic. And I feel like if they're not financially compatible in their expectations, I feel like that's going to cause stress in the relationship. Another issue with their relationship is that Anton is basically a party boy. He says that he's retired and it's been a while since he's been out. He's trying to say it's been a year or so. But when Abby meets up with Anton and his friend's girlfriend lets slip that basically it's only been a couple months of retirement. And him and his friend Joey have been notorious for going to strip clubs. They're like the dynamic duo, like doing bad things together. Whereas Anton made it seem like it was Joey. Joey was the bad influence. And on top of that, there's discussion that everybody's surprised that Anton is getting engaged. Nobody thought he'd ever get married. And nobody thought he'd be at the stage where he could get married right now. He's got commitment issues and whatnot. So that's a big red flag, because whenever anybody talks about commitment issues on this show, usually if that person ends up getting married, it's a quick divorce. Abby, of course, is not impressed when she hears this. But if she is spending all of his money, maybe he's not going to have the money to go to the strip club and be entertaining other people, even if he wanted to. So maybe that's the trick. She just needs to spend all his money, so he can't spend it on nowhere else. Then we have Madison and Joey. Joey is not serious. He doesn't really care about Madison. And he's very transparent about how he doesn't think this relationship is going to work, but trying to disguise it in, well, let's just talk about our reservations in the relationship. He's been very careless in the relationship, especially him getting drunk at the engagement moon. And he's in no position to be a carer for Madison if she starts to lose her sight. Madison is hanging on. She seems to have low self-esteem. They need to wrap it up. And I think they will wrap it up because we don't see them in the trailer for the next batch of episodes at the wedding. So I assume that they don't make it to the altar. Then finally, we have Annie and Nick. It's still very much giving lavender marriage. And on top of that, Nick seems to be very emotionally manipulative, playing mind games, trying to get Annie to vie for his validation. We see Nick constantly performing masculinity. We see him at his own place in a cabin in the mountains with his cowboy hat in the mountains. It reminds me of a certain movie. And then also on top of that, you see no hesitation from his family. His family are so happy that he's marrying a woman they absolutely are in love with Annie. And to me, that said it all. They are desperate for Nick to marry a woman. Nobody seems to like him in the pod squad, so I feel like that's an extra red flag. But I don't know, Annie's coming across very desperate. I think there is a 60% chance that they could get married. But if they do, it's definitely going to go up in flames. A lot of sins are going to be committed. But I got to hear from you guys. What are your predictions and who do you think should or shouldn't get married? I got to hear from you guys.